What's good, guys? It's your boy D-Mac on the track, spitting about another week of NFL football. So let's get this show going. I'm glad to see you guys are here. Well, I can't actually see you, but you know what I mean. What's this? An actual matchup to be excited for. Good job, NFL. The Eagles come into this game undefeated on Thursday night games under coach Doug Marrone, and the Packers are 3-0 currently. Eagles are celebrating the return of Alshon Jeffrey from injury, so no more Aguilar.
Go down, my man just started throwing babies out the window. Wow. We was catching them, unlike Aguilar and his mishaps. I like to put that out there.
Well, he's still on the team, just no more defenders depending on his drops. The Eagles also decided, hey, we traded for this Jordan Howard dude. We should actually, use him and run the ball. And run the ball they did. Howard finished with 3 tuds. So if you had him on your bench in fantasy, you probably aren't happy. You remember week 1, we thought the Packers defense was good and improved with all these new acquisitions? Yeah, I'd been hoodwinked too. It had been disguised due to their inferior competition. The 3 teams they've beaten ranked 20th, 29th, and 14th in total offense. But they all seem to run the ball consistently very well against this defense, which we witnessed Thursday. Speaking of running the ball, is there this new trend of not running the ball late in the fourth quarter when you're on the 3-yard line, when you have plenty of time and multiple timeouts? Matt LaFleur pulled a Pete Carroll at the end of the game, and it cost him dearly. I guess everyone's having a little bit of the bubbly these days.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
The game, they got the noon slot Sunday. It was the undefeated Chiefs versus the undefeated Lions. Even though the Lions are 2-0 with a tie against Arizona, but I guess they're still undefeated. This game was wild, and I mean like wild. I, like many other people, when I was doing my picks, I had the Chiefs winning, but they did not make it look like how it was supposed to. This Lions defense is very underrated. Matt Patricia's doing a great job teaching them, and he's changing the culture in the Lions, and I think that's going to change the team. But, they could just be pulling the Lions into sucking. The Lions defense, they flustered the Chiefs offense by playing tight man-to-man coverage for a majority of the game, making Patrick Mahomes look actually this thing called human. They held him to just barely over 300 yards, which, in Patrick Mahomes numbers, that's pretty good. But they kept him out of the end zone because he had no touchdowns. This was the Chiefs' first true test to see if they can buckle down and get the job done when things aren't going their way and coming easy. You also have to be nervous that the rest of the NFL saw this game and try to replicate the Lions' game plan. At least for your Chiefs. Everybody else, you're like, oh, thank you, Lions. There were multiple lead changes and possession changes, with both teams fumbling the ball like this was NFL Street 2.
Get it!
But all in all, this was a pretty solid, entertaining game. It was a good watch. The other noon game was also another game between 2 undefeated teams. That seems to be the reoccurring theme this week. This game was between AFC foils, the Bills, and the Patriots. Fun fact, Tom Brady's record against Buffalo is 31-3, which means Tom Brady has more losses in the Super Bowl than he has against Buffalo. But maybe, just maybe, the Bills can pull this one out and change history.
Wow! The land of make-believe!
Even with Tom Brady playing like crap, finishing with a QBR of 10, and I repeat, 10, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on a scale to 100. He got bailed out by playing better than a combo of Matt Barkley and Josh Allen, who each had, what was the QBR of 8? I don't know how it was just bad. But, it was the defense. Granted, it wasn't all his doing. The Bills' defense is very underrated. I'm going to say that a lot about a lot of defenses. But unless the Bills get proper QB support from their offense, they're going to struggle. But hey, At least Bills Mafia always stays lit, baby.
Let's fucking go!
3 o'clock doubleheader game. It pit the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. These NFC North rivals look to be interesting this year. Both are trying to make a run and win their division, with their defenses attempting to lead the way. But for the Bears, their hopes were nearly dashed early in the game when Mitchell Trubisky exited with a shoulder injury. But then something really strange happened. Chase Daniels came into the game and made the offense look pretty good. He marched them straight downfield opening drive, and he threw a touchdown to Tariq Cohen. To me personally, he looks to be a better pure pocket passer than Trubisky, but what he lacks that Trubisky has is the athleticism to extend the plays, which is probably why they choose to go with Trubisky. For the Vikings, they ran into the buzzsaw that is the Chicago Bears defense led by Khalil Mack. Dalvin Cook, who was in the discussion this year for top running back, he averages over 110 plus yards in the games leading up to this. But when he left here, he only had 35 yards and a garbage time touchdown that fantasy owners celebrated. Like me, I was pretty happy. With the running game not working, the Vikings had to depend on Kirk Cousins, Mr. $84 million man. He's supposed to be the chosen one. He's supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them. And let's just say he's disappointed so far after he's gotten his new contract. He's made what Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen look like the schoolyard children. But come on, Kirk Cousins. You know, it's easy to get them confused, even though one guy gets paid $84 million and the other guy doesn't. And they play about the same way. Oh, look. Kirk Cousins overthrew Adam Thielen. Well, he'll get him next drive, and Minnesota will come back in this game, and he's fumbled. Well, Minnesota, hope you consider this money well spent. Sunday night was football night, and it was the Dallas Cowboys versus New Orleans Saints. Alright, let's get this over with. This is a classic case of complacency. The Dallas Cowboys come into this game 3-0, having played three of the worst teams in the NFL, which, not like any of the other undefeated teams, they pretty much play kind of garbage fire teams, like hot garbage fire. During that stretch, I tried to remain objective and wanted to wait until we, saw good competition. This week, the Cowboys got smacked in the face by reality while it screamed, "Who dat? Who dat? Who dat?" The defense did an admirable job holding the Saints to just kicking field goals the whole day. Their main weapons of choice were Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, who got their yards, fantasy. The problem was that the offense, at least the Cowboys' offense, couldn't execute properly in closing moments. They were turning the ball over, and that never helps. Refs were calling phantom plays. Like, I guess, if you're Amari Cooper and you break a dude's ankle when you're running her out, that's, offensive pass interference. Zeke was held in check by the Saints' front line, which makes sense because their whole front four were all first-round picks, kind of similar to how the Cowboys spent their first-round picks on offensive linemen. So that was just a battle in the trenches, and the Cowboys didn't win this one. Without Michael Gallup to take the top off the defense, I've noticed the Cowboys have struggled, at least a little bit more. But he should be coming back within the next couple of weeks. I don't know about this week, though, because next week the Cowboys will be facing a Packers team reeling from a Thursday night loss to the Eagles. So we will see if this was the wake-up call the boys needed. Are you ready for some football? Because we got the Bengals versus the Steelers. Fun fact, both of these teams are winless. I guess the opposite of undefeated is like they're just straight up defeated. That's what made this game interesting, because somebody had to come out with their first win, and they're going to be pretty excited for that.
Yay!
For the Steelers, this was a chance in a Rudolph experiment to see in post-Ben Roethlisberger era, will they stick with Mason Rudolph or be looking for a QB in the near future? For the Bengals, This is just the first year under new head coach Zach Taylor, so growing pains are expected, especially without star wide receiver A.J. Green. With all that said, the Steelers really showed they wanted to win this game. They aren't tanking intentionally like the Dolphins. They're just a team that just went 0-3 because maybe they're just trash. The defense, it showed out, sacking Andy Dalton 8 times and causing 2 turnovers. The Bengals O-line, they were like a kid who didn't study for a test. They had no answers. So congrats to the Steelers, guys. You did it. You've beaten the odds. You silenced the critics. You're the first defeated team to win a football game. All right. You can't be blue. It's time for the news. I gotta work on these segues. They're hot trash. Okay, so first story we got going on. Vontaze Burfict, linebacker for the Oakland Raiders. He's been suspended by the NFL for the rest of the season before his helmet-to-helmet hit on Colts tight end Jack Doyle. Cowboys left tackle Tyron Smith has a high ankle sprain and will miss the Cowboys Week 5 matchup against the Packers. He also doesn't have an official timetable for return, so I think they're taking this week by week to see how long they have until they can get him back in there. Throwing shoulder, official timetable for his return is not available, but he is already officially ruled out for next week's game against the Raiders in London. Okay, undefeated team watch. We went from 7 teams to just 3. We are left with the Patriots, the Chiefs, and surprisingly the 49ers, but they are coming off a bye, so I didn't have to play anybody next week. I think next week I'm going to start having a defeated teams list to see who's going to be leading the pack for the first overall pick in the draft. I think that's going to come down between, I think, maybe the Redskins or the Dolphins. Okay, everybody. That was another week of NFL football. I enjoy the support. I enjoy the comments. I need you guys to start commenting more on the videos. I like to learn. Just give me some help. Help me to help you to help me to help you, all right? Okay, thank you, goodbye, good night, and I'm Batman E. Bombay.